This is the Insta360 ONE RS. Hey, my name's Jake and I create content here to help solo creators on the go. So I test lots of drones, cameras, lenses, and I give you tips and tutorials on how to use them. So if that's something that interests you, consider subscribing. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, Insta360 did send me this camera to test and review, but they're not paying for this video in any other way, and they don't get any input into this video before it's launched. I've been working with the Insta360 ONE RS for a few different weeks now, and it is a substantial upgrade to the original Insta360 ONE R. But what are some of those upgrades, and is this the right camera for you? Some of the biggest upgrades are coming in this new module here and the new brain, and that is that you get a half-inch sensor at an f2.4 instead of f2.8 and a smaller sensor that was in the original, which means you now should be able to get better low-light performance. In my testing, you definitely can. Still an action camera, so there's still a limit, but the low-light performance, the performance of this lens overall in general is a lot better. But one of the biggest upgrades is that it now includes Insta360's incredible flow state stabilization built into the camera, which means you don't have to work in post with the Insta360 Studio app or on your computer to stabilize the footage. It now comes all built in, and you get 3 levels. You could do low, medium, or high. Of course, you could also turn it off if you want to. But the stabilization built into this camera is just fantastic. I mean, it is really incredible, as you can see here. This is an example of me turning the stabilization on and off in the Studio app just so you can see the difference that it makes, but now you get that same stabilization built into the camera and into the lens. On the video side, you can shoot 4K up to 60 frames a second, which can give you some nice slow-mo effects, and you can shoot 2.7K up to 100 frames a second, which gives you more of that really kind of super slow-mo feeling. Plus, you can shoot 6K ultra wide, which is really interesting and gives you a very cinematic feel. Yeah, it's really a cool mode that this camera comes with. Now, in the 6K mode, you can only shoot up to 25 frames a second. You can't shoot 30 frames a second. Maybe that's something Insta360 will be able to change in the future through firmware. Another cool feature they've added is now you can zoom on the app or via the screen live while you're recording. So if you want to be able to zoom in, crop in, punch in to get a little tighter shot, you can do it. Now, you definitely do lose some image quality when you're doing that, but I was surprised at how good the quality remains throughout the zoom range. Generally, action cameras for me have been over sharpened, but now you can go in and change the amount of sharpening in the camera from low to medium to high to super high. And the last big improvement they made to image quality is the new 48 megapixel still mode. Now, this is kind of like the Air 2 when you have a quad Bayer sensor that's half-inch and you can kind of use the extra pixels to create a fake 48 megapixel still, but they do look good. They have a fair amount of extra detail, and I really like the pictures that I've been able to take with it. Plus, you also get things like HDR photos, which turn out really nice. There's a lot of other upgrades as well. The new battery is a lot longer runtime, gives you about 20%, 21% more runtime, and in my testing, it sure did give me a lot more runtime. I shot all this in one day, basically on one battery charge, which was pretty good. It also has a new and improved microphone system, which means you get better, cleaner audio, especially when you're talking to the camera. And of course, you still get the options for all of the different noise canceling if you want to work with the files in post. And especially when you pair it with the new case, which I really like because it's super easy to push in, clip, lock. You can take the camera out really quickly, swap lenses if you want to, put the 360 lens on there, and put the whole system back together, and then slide it in, take the cover off, of course, and it's ready to go. This system is a lot faster and a lot better, and so the way Insta360's redesigned this mount is great, but this mount comes with a little bit of foam right here under the microphone, and it gives you really good, really clean audio, as you can see here.
This is the Insta360 ONE RS. I'm facing the waterfalls behind me, just kind of testing to see how the audio is. If I go toward the waterfall, does that make it change at all? Yeah. The one thing that's always been cool about Insta360 is you're able to go in and post and process all the audio in post and make it like very clean, very focused on the voice, get rid of a lot of extra noise, or just leave it alone and natural. So
one more thing that Insta360 has done that I really appreciate is the fact that all of this is compatible with the Insta360 ONE R, and the older modules from the Insta360 ONE R are compatible with this. Now, you may not get all the settings, all the frame rates and stuff with those older modules using this, but the fact that that stuff is cross-compatible is great, and I appreciate the fact that they didn't redesign this in some way to make it so that you had to upgrade. You can use the 4K module, the 1-inch module, the 360 module. If you already bought the 360 ONE R, you could use these bits with it, so you don't have to upgrade absolutely everything to get some of the newer features. Now, most of the upgrades and most of the really cool features have come with the new 4K mod, but you can also get this 360 camera, and so if you're looking for one camera module, one camera that you can shoot both 360 stuff with and 4K stuff with, then this is a great option. The fact that it's modular, it's waterproof up to 16 feet is really incredible. But when you add the 360 module, that's when you get some really cool things that you can do with this, is reframing in post, being able to track your subject, which works incredibly well through the app or the Insta360 Studio software on your desktop. Tracking is really great. And then you can run that same clip through and get a whole different perspective. But the fact that you can now run this with just basically one camera and not have to run around with 2 or 3 different cameras is really great. Another thing Insta360's done is redesign their selfie stick. Now, Insta360 has made my favorite selfie stick for the last 3 or 4 years running. The way it's designed, the compactness of it, and the amount of length and distance that you get out of it is fantastic. But the old ones, you had to twist, open, and then lock it back in place, and then twist and push it closed, and then lock it back in place. And that worked fine, except for me in the wintertime when I would get frost in there, or in the summer when I'm running around the ocean and get salt and sand in there. We'll see how this one holds up, but the fact now that you can just basically pull it open, it opens, push it closed. There's enough friction there to keep it locked in place. I really like this. The whole invisible selfie stick is kind of a way that 360 cameras operate, period. The way they seam or stitch the 2 camera angles together. But the fact that you can get sort of fake drone shots or videos of yourself doing things without having to put a drone in the air is really kind of cool. And 360 cameras, like for some of those BTS stuff, have become a way that I really like gathering footage of some of the places I'm in and some of the things I'm doing. In fact, I used this footage on some videos a while back just because I wanted that third-party view, but I wasn't sure exactly what the angle was going to be like. So I put the 360 camera up there, stuck it in a snowbank, and got some great third-party views of the location I was filming some stuff in. And one of the other upgrades is because the new brain, the new Insta360 core for the ONE RS is more powerful, you get much faster Wi-Fi transfer of the footage that you film with this. So if you just use your phone to create content, you now get a really fast Wi-Fi link between this camera and your phone to be able to pull the footage off, be able to reframe it, work with it in post, and then post it to Instagram or Twitter or wherever you post. Is this the right camera for you? Depends on your use. I think this is a great option for people who want to be able to shoot 360 video or shoot 360 video and then later reframe in post, but also have the option to just use it like a regular action camera with some really good stabilization built in. Then this is a great camera for you, because now you only need this camera, the battery, and one of the other mods, and you get all kinds of options. You can add a mic attachment, plus you can get this really sweet selfie stick, which I use for a ton of stuff now. Pricing wise, this comes in at $300 or $299 US for just this setup like you see right here. If you add this on there, then you're at $550, which really is not bad considering the price of other action cameras on the market at the moment. And then $16 you can add the selfie stick, which I would highly recommend because this thing is awesome. And if you want to see how other action cameras stack up to each other or other action cameras that I've reviewed, click or tap right there. I'll see you in one of those videos as always. If you have questions, ask me in the comments below or join my live stream, which happens Wednesday nights at 4 p.m. Alaska time, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'll see you again soon in the next video. Cheers.